Welcome to Apricot Cottage Studio. Today we're going to make some very beautiful cards using some new papers from Stampin' Up. We're going to use the Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper. This is gorgeous paper. I love the colors in it. Would make great scrapbooking pages. It's got lovely flowers and some all-over designs. So I purchased the paper, but I didn't purchase the stamp set or the dies. So I'm doing a combined unit here so that I can utilize the paper. So the first thing I did is I fussy cut some of the flowers, some of the hydrangeas, and I cut out 3 of them. Now when you cut them out, they're not perfect shapes, but that's fine because what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer them so you'll never know that one of them was a little cut off, but that way I can utilize all the paper efficiently. So the first card I made was a kindness card, and you can see that it has nice dimension because I've used the Stampin' Dimensionals to give it some layers, and I've also been aware of my colors so that it draws your eye into the sentiment. I've used the darker colors for the sentiment, so your eye will automatically go to that. So how I made this card is, first of all, I looked at the colors in the paper and I chose the 3 colors that I thought would go, which were the misty, Highland Heather, Grape, Gorgeous Grape, and the Sea Breeze. And I've cut a piece of heavy white, basic white cardstock for my card base, and then I cut a piece of the Highland Heather slightly smaller, and then I cut a 3rd piece because I want to layer it in the pale blue, and I've taken a ribbon. Any of these colors would go with it. I've got the sheer ribbon. This is the new one, which is Gorgeous Grape, or you could use the silver blue one, balmy blue one from Christmas catalog. Any of those would go, but I chose to use the Gorgeous Grape sheer ribbon, and I just took a piece and I folded it over and added a little bit of tear and tape on the back to keep it in place. So I'm going to just take off the tear and tape. And add a little bit of glue, especially around my ribbon. And layer that up. There we go. Now, for my sentiment, I didn't have the stamp set that went with this paper, so I looked in my stash and I found one from the Timeless Tulips, and I'm going to make this one a sympathy card. This one is a kindness card, and I'm having to use some sympathy cards lately. So I wanted to put that down towards the bottom of my card, so I used the Gorgeous Grape, and I used the dies from the Happy Hippo. Now the Happy Hippo's got lots of cute little animals in it, but it's got some really great layering dies that are great for sentiments that can be used on any card, which is really one of the reasons why I bought that set. I really like those. This one's got nice stitching around it, so it's got stitching on the outside as well as on the inside. So I've done my layers. I've stamped my saying in Gorgeous Grape, and then I've layered it on a piece of Gorgeous Grape. So I'm going to put that down towards the bottom. And there's my flowers that I've cut out. Now I'm going to layer my flowers. So I'm going to put the 2 purple ones, the light one, on one side and tuck it underneath because I've used my Stampin' Dimensionals to raise that up. I've got space. And then I'm going to put the darker one at the back here. You could just use 2, but I also like to use the blue. Now the blue one, I want to use the Stampin' Dimensionals to raise it up and give it dimension. That'll make the card more interesting. and I'm going to tuck it behind, saying like that. There we go. So there's my flowers, and you can see this one's raised up. And then I've also cut out some leaves. Now, I cut the leaves that I could see out, which have a little bit of lighter color, but I also cut out the back, which happen to be dark green. So I'm going to put the dark green ones on at the back because they'll look like they've got more shadow. Tuck them behind. And then here's another one that I've cut out of the dark green. It's not an actual shape, it's just a scrap, but it will look like a leaf. And then I think I'm going to raise the edge of these up. Tuck them like that. And I have one more. So these were the actual leaves I cut out because they've got a little bit of highlight on them. But the leaves that I cut out the back, which were just the dark green pattern, will give it a little bit of dimension because they'll look like they're further in the back. So I'll tuck this one in here. There we go. Now I'm going to take my mini glue dots and put a little bit of mini glue dots on the back of a little bow that I tied. And I just, you notice I have a little ribbon around there so it doesn't come undone. And I just fold it back, and then I can put a little glue dot on my ribbon, and I'll put my ribbon on the edge like that. And then I didn't want a glittery butterfly because this is a sympathy card. So I cut a butterfly out of the new butterfly bijou paper, and it has some big butterflies, but it also has some little ones. So I cut out a tiny little butterfly, and I'll put a sticky dot on that, and I'm only going to put it in the middle so it will have again some dimension. Like that. And then I'm going to add some pearls. These are the pastel pearls that go with the paper. The only two things out of the collection I bought, but they're so pretty. So I could add pink if I wanted to, or this light purple. And I'm going to use my Picket tool to pick up the, and I think maybe a second one would be nice. Oop. There. So there's my sympathy version, and this is my kindness version with the sparkly butterfly. This one's a little bit more subtle. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed making some cards with me today.